Welcome in, everybody. This is the Devil's Den podcast. My name is Spencer Hayden, and I'm joined alongside
Chris Georgiou.
And we're some of the biggest American United fans you'll find out there. And so this is a podcast where we're going to be talking about United. We're going to be doing different tier lists. We're going to be doing different things in terms of pre-match analysis, post-game analysis. We're just going to be talking all about United. And so to start out with, I'm just going to ask a simple question to you, Chris. Why did you first join the United fan base?
Well, I'm a third-generation United supporter. My dad and his dad were both United fans in Cyprus. So then I probably started watching us probably 2012, 2013, right at the end of Sir Alex's reign as manager. Kind of unfortunate. That's when I started following us, but I never look back.
Yeah, the last 10 or so years have been really rough for us. But for me, at least, my dad went to England for his job. I forgot what his job was back in the day. But he went to England, and he got me a Wayne Rooney jersey back when Rooney was kind of in his prime. So I think I started around probably the same time, like 2010, 2009-ish, around there. Yeah. And I kind of just followed them, always watching them whenever I could get the chance, even though I was really young at the time. But kind of just my team. And I always liked a lot of the characters in the team. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, those guys are really likable guys, at least once you started to fall in love with them. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I started following United. Who's your favorite player all time or at the
Definitely
moment?
Rooney. The first United moment I remember was his famous derby goal, the bike in 2011. That was
nasty.
That was crazy.
Dude,
and then from then on, Rooney was that guy.
Even thinking about that time is just like, bro, I wish take me back. You know, like, take me back. But my favorite player all time, probably Ronaldo, just because. Yeah, he's Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's Ronaldo.
Obviously, recent memory of him isn't the best with the whole situation.
It's tough
this season, but as a whole, sometimes you just gotta say f the current moment in time. You know, as a whole, Ronaldo is just
he's the greatest ever.
He's the greatest. He's the greatest ever. At least Manchester United player, and he definitely got me loving the game too. Mm-hmm. He was one of the players that I was like, all right, like I'm playing soccer, so I can try to be like him, you know. And also, prefaces, we're going to be saying soccer or football. We're going to mix it up because sometimes I hear football when I'm listening to all the British things all the British media outlets I listen to, but sometimes we'll be saying soccer because, you know, we are Americans.
We are American. We're going to try to focus on football.
And we don't want to sound like we're cringy British people trying to, you know, make it up, but we're Americans, you know, and if you got a problem with it, you can click off, but we're Americans, so you shouldn't have a problem with it. So, Chris, I think we're going to move on to the next thing we got on the docket.
All right.
And for today, we're going to be doing a tier list, actually. So that tier list is actually going to be the team for next season, okay? So I got my iPad with me here.
But this is only current United players.
Yeah, only current United players. And so
some starting 11 positions can be blank.
Yes.
There's no current player to fill it.
Obviously, there are some needs in the starting 11, midfielders, goalkeeper, all those different things that we can debate on. But for now, what we're going to be talking about is
from what we have,
the current roster of players. Which players would we put in our starting 11, put in our bench? Would we sell, loan out, or one for the future?
Yeah. So
the first player we got, this could be a debate for the whole podcast. David De Gea.
Sell.
Really? Why do you think we should sell David
Gea? I don't think he should be our number one. And if he wants to stay, I mean, he can, but I don't think he'd want to play as a number two. Like, I feel like he's going to want to stay, sign a new contract, and be our number one, and take a pay cut, which he said he's willing to do. Mm-hmm. Or he can go. He's obviously going to get like game time at another club if he leaves. But I think the only way to play like a possession-based way under Ten Hag is if we have a new keeper that can play with his feet.
I'm kind of torn on this one because especially when I go looking on Twitter, I see everyone out here saying, "Oh, we got to sell him. That's the first step in building Ten Hag's possession-based side that's going to win the league." And I understand that. I totally understand that because watching him week in and week out, making some of these big mistakes and errors.
Every time he gets the ball, my heart starts racing.
Oh my god! Yeah, like when who was it? Malacia played the ball back in the Brentford game.
I mean, he did well, but like
when he played the ball back, I was freaking out.
I was like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh, this is not the goalkeeper you passed the ball back to in that way. I I'm gonna have to agree with you, but he's done so much for the club.
I know you can't take away anything from his time.
Yeah.
He's been here so long, and he has been a leader at times. I feel like he has somewhat become like a scapegoat recently because there's times when he has like bailed us out. Like he's a world class like shot stopper.
Yeah, and
I just don't think he has the like technical quality to really play with the ball.
Yeah,
and
I agree with you there. But I also think too, like people are always making sort of assumptions about what we need and David Raya this and Diego Costa and stuff. But I think David De Gea, if you watch the last Brentford game, I think they're definitely trying to make an effort to get him to be more progressive.
Oh, they
on the
are
ball.
Definitely.
And
he did well. I think he did.
I think
he had one.
He definitely did.
He had one scare with Tony.
Yeah, he definitely did much better than he's done previously. And I think he had that one where he had a goal kick and he played it up, and Sancho didn't really go for it. And then they got like the counterattack where that I forgot the striker's name for them. But he got in on one-on-one, and David De Gea made up for that mistake. But I don't even know. Sometimes when I think about passes like that, it's not exactly fully his fault, because if he boots the ball up the field, and we're not really making an effort to get the ball,
I know
we can't fully blame him for that. You know,
and that's where like he gets scapegoated, because anytime you concede a goal or make a defensive error, it's always De Gea this, De Gea that. Like it's his fault.
They'll look back like a whole minute or something and be like, oh well, that pass 2 minutes ago was David De Gea's bad pass. So obviously it's his fault, even though like we got problems in the midfield. When we don't have Casemiro, we've got huge gaps in the midfield where, because you saw McTominay and Sabitzer, they're both really progressive midfielders. They both like to go and get forward. Yeah, and
it's about holding that space in behind.
Exactly, they don't really hold that space as well as Casemiro does. So I think we can't put all the blame on De Gea, but we got to move on. I'm gonna put him in the sell column.
It's time,
and I think we can definitely freshen up in the goalkeeper area. And so next we got some smaller ones that are a little bit easier to go through. Tom Heaton.
I'll keep. What is it? Bench.
Yeah, we got
bench is an option.
One we could bench. For the future too. We could put them like around the squad, I guess.
Yeah.
So bench. Yeah, we'll say Tom Heaton in the bench.
He's not a bad backup.
He's not bad. When he's come in, he's done what he needs to do. He commands his box a little bit better than De Gea does when coming out from crosses and stuff. But that's really about it. So I don't think there's really much debate on that. And then this one might be a little bit more debate. Dean Henderson. If we are letting go of David De Gea, do we keep Dean Henderson or do we bring someone else in? You know?
Dean Henderson's not going to come back if he's not playing number one. Yeah, that's the thing. If he's coming back, he's expecting to play like every game. Yeah, basically.
You heard the comments, and I heard the comments when he went to Nottingham. He said, "I need you to be getting minutes."
Yeah, he's not going to come back to play number two again.
I think we sell.
Yeah,
I agree. In, get maybe 10, 15 million.
I think we can get more for him. I think we can get 30 to 40.
Didn't Nottingham go for Keylor Navas?
They signed it. Well, Dean Henderson got injured, so they signed him on I think they got him on a free.
Okay.
I think he's a good keeper.
Yeah.
I honestly could see him going to like Spurs or something. Yeah. I see him going there.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you say it.
After Lloris leaves.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, next up we got Jack Butland. I think we just leave him in one for the future or something. I don't really know. Yeah. He doesn't seem like someone that's really breaking.
He was just a keeper signing in January he's on loan, I think, right?
He's on loan. I mean,
I think he's on loan.
I can't even remember. I feel like it's kind of irrelevant. So I think
I think he was warming up at one point when De Gea was down. Against Brentford. That's the only time I've really seen him in anything.
Yeah, I think we put him in the sell because we don't really need him. In sell, we could just mean not buying him, I guess. But then we got Victor Lindelof. And I know you like Victor Lindelof.
I do.
What do you think?
Bench.
Bench?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I really like Lindelof.
But do you think he wants to be on the bench though? Because you heard what he said when he was playing for Sweden.
Yeah.
He said he does want to play, minutes, which is fair.
But I think he is an important player for us.
I agree. I think if we could bench him, and if he's okay with coming in for cup games and coming in occasionally at the end of games and stuff, I think that'd be a good idea to keep him. But if he isn't comfortable with that, I think we cash out and sell him. Yeah. So I think we'll put him on the bench, but that's an if he's okay with not getting minutes. All right, next we got Eric Bailly, who's on loan at Marseille at the moment. He's having a decent season there.
So I can't have more if by stays fit talks anymore.
Yeah,
He
I agree.
he'll have like a 10 out of 10 game and then have like an absolute like horror show and then get injured and be out for 3 months and just rinse and repeat. That's basically been his United career.
Yeah,
He hasn't been able to consistently stay fit, and
sometimes I swear we see him play, and
performances.
I'm just like, this guy is
I know.
such quality, and
I know.
he looks so calm and composed in the ball sometimes. But then sometimes you also have moments where it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then also he's just injured like nonstop. He's a walking injury. He's part of Injury FC with Martial, so I think we got to sell him. Probably Marseille as long as they want him, because it seems like they're having a good season.
Yeah.
All right, next one. So you probably don't even know he's on the team still. Phil Jones.
Phil Jones. Oh my God.
I think his contract's running out this summer.
Is
so
it?
I think we just let him go, and we'll put that in the sell column. Because
I love Phil Jones, but it's time.
Do we love Phil Jones? I think
time.
we love the meme of
we love Phil Jones.
I think we love the meme of Phil Jones. I don't know if we love the player inside that.
I feel bad for him, honestly.
I think he's like, I think there actually is a decent player inside of there, because you remember.
I mean, there were times when he was paired with Smalling.
Yeah.
And I hated both of them so much because they were absolutely atrocious together at times.
This is some dark times, man. All right, we're gonna sell him. Next up, this one should be an instant answer. Harry Maguire.
So
there was some reluctancy. What's the deal with that?
Some of the comments he makes, I think, are too big for his ego.
I completely
saying
agree.
like, I have nothing to prove, or I get minutes all the time. It's like, you come in and you're like, you have moments of quality, but there's also times when you make these like schoolboy errors.
One thing that just really ticks me off is I do see a good player in there in terms of when he's on the ball. Actually, everyone's always like, "Oh, he's so slow." Like, yes, he can have those moments where he's really slow and he lets the press come to him.
He takes so long on the ball. It's so annoying.
He does play some good long balls, but like, oh my gosh, his defense. He's so slow. He's just so slow. His brain, his feet, everything about him is just slow. And it's just.
He was in what was the season we signed him? Summer of 2019. Like that first season.
He was quality
with Solskjaer. He was really good.
He had a good season.
He was good.
On the whole, I feel like.
But I don't think he should have been made captain ever. I don't think he's been a good captain for us. Really.
I think even if Leicester go ahead and get relegated, he can still go there. That'd be his.
No, I just don't think
level. He's not at our level.
He's United quality.
Not at all.
And that's why you've seen Lindelof coming on in defense ahead of him.
Yeah, I think that's an instance.
Ten Hag, he's really fallen down. Ten Hag's pecking order.
Yeah, I agree. And then we got one that this is a no-brainer. Yeah. Lissandro Martinez.
Yeah, starting 11.
I
think he's
easy.
He's gonna be our. Hopefully, he can be our center back.
He's only 25,
I think. He's 25. He's got a good relationship with Ten Hag. I think
he's a player that you just
he's
love.
a long term.
You love like as soon as you start seeing what he does, you love him. Opposing teams hate him, but that's another reason why we love him.
He's a fighter, and I think he's really brought.
Did you see that tackle he had on Ivan Toney?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, those tackles like that are just like they're so unnecessary, but so lovely. I know. So lovely. Yeah. And man, he's such a lovely player. All right, starting lineup easy. Tyrell Malacia, next player.
Bench.
I think, I agree with that, and I also think, based on his performance against Brentford, he came in and honestly, because at first I was like, all right, well he's usually like mediocre, and he never plays it really that bad, you know, but he doesn't really bring too much sometimes. Yeah. But I swear against Brentford, he looked really good.
I think he looked technically quality. He's very good. Yeah. I think he's a good quality player. He reminds me of Patrice Evra a little bit.
I mean, that's a bit of a stretch for me for right now.
I think he's super young.
Yeah.
But like
I agree. I think we need to see a little bit more. But once we
he would thrive in the back three too, even moving into like central midfield, which we've seen him do. But yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly, some of his movements in the last game, some of his passes were really good. He was really tidy. He didn't do too much.
He was even pulling out some like flicks and trickery and stuff against Brentford too. I was impressed.
Yeah, I was
very impressed.
All right, next up we got Rafael Varane.
Starting 11.
It's super easy. I mean,
that's a no-brainer.
As long as he doesn't have injury woes, which this season really hasn't been too bad. He hasn't, because normally he's known for kind of having some injuries. But this season he's, knock on wood, been pretty good. Yeah. without having any injuries or anything like that. I
He
swear
just-
it's
he
like a
brings-
French thing to
yeah.
have these injuries.
I know. He brings a certain just calmness to our back line. Like he really like holds the fort down kind of.
In recent times, you got you
Yeah.
got Paul Pogba, Martial,
Yeah.
Varane, all French, and
Yeah.
all have injury problems.
know.
I don't know what the deal is
Yeah.
with that, but they all have some
good.
sort of injury
Uh-huh.
problems. But I think he's been really solid this year, and he's one of those players that kind of goes under the radar because you got Lisandro Martinez who's coming in and
Yeah.
having those crazy tackles, and Lisandro's passing range is just nuts. Like when I see him, sometimes it's like when you watch a midfielder and that midfielder every time he gets the ball, you're like, oh, he's gonna spray out a nice ball.
Mhm.
When I see Lisandro take the ball, it's just like, all right, I know he's gonna do something.
That's
good.
why people are saying Martinez
He could play CDM.
could play
honestly.
DM.
He could, but he's still valuable as center back too.
Yeah.
Now. He's just I could see him play left back too. Like he could play so many positions. He's one of those guys that can probably play.
He's
a
got
lot
that
of
fight
positions.
where you could literally play any position.
He could probably play goalie.
Yeah.
He's not even tall. But yeah, let's move on to Diogo Dalot.
Bench.
Bench. Interesting. Why do you think bench?
I don't think I think is a good player. It's just I think we can upgrade and have a better starting right back. I don't think he's a bad player at all though.
Yeah, I agree. I think when the team is playing well, I think he plays really well.
He's tidy in possession, and him and Anthony have also like grown a partnership over the last couple months too.
Yeah.
We saw against Brentford they were like interchanging constantly. Like one of them was like drifting inside, the other one was like holding the width out. I think his crossing could get a little better.
Yeah,
His delivery sometimes is poor. His like final product. But yeah, I think he's a quality attacking right back.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think also when we were playing against Brentford, I feel like the game was going really well because we held a lot of possession.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point in the first half, I saw them pop a possession stat, and it was like 75 to 25%. And this was like 25, 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of unusual for us this season because he's still sort of installing what he wants the boys to do. And I think it really worked well for Dalot and Anthony to not have to be... Because today's modern fullback, you don't want them defending. Like, you look at Trent, you don't want him defending the whole game. Trent's biggest asset is that he's really good offensively.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to Dalot. I think he's a little bit better defensively. He had some good interceptions as well in the game that I think a lot of times when he plays defense, it goes under the radar because sometimes you might get passed by somebody who's really fast or something. But I think he brings a lot to the team in terms of making runs, playing with... Anthony was making some good runs too. I would like to see Anthony sort of finish the product a little bit better in terms of instead of taking a million shots.
We'll talk about Anthony.
Yeah,
coming up.
But yeah, we'll move on to Luke Shaw now. But yeah, I think Diogo Dalot good on the bench, but he might be a guy that we might have to start next year. I wouldn't be mad if we didn't replace a right back. It's definitely somewhere we can improve on. If we want to look to,
it's
build a
definitely
time charge,
not.
It's not the top.
It's not a top priority.
But it's definitely something we can definitely improve on. But yeah, if we go to Luke Shaw now.
Starting 11.
Starting 11? I've
I
seen
think,
a lot of people on Twitter actually hating on Luke Shaw. I don't know why.
I don't
know where this
I think it's kind of forced.
I do. I think there's some people just out there with agenda.
I think their only argument against it is that he's been here 8 or 9 years and this is, or like 2 years ago was his first good season and like he's having a good season now, but like overall he's shit. But like he's been so quality for us, and like he's one of our like 3 or 4 like technically sound players. Anytime he gets the ball, you don't expect him to lose it, and you expect him to really like progress the play well. His passing range is insane if you think about it. Really, like you can make a full like compilation of all his best passes, and also, for England too, he shines for England. Yeah.
Also, I think one thing that people don't really pay attention to, it's his biggest asset in my opinion, is his ability on the ball with dribbling. Yeah. Because I don't know if you watched last game, obviously you did, but he had that one run where I think we were just passing around the back, and then Bruno got the ball, and then 2 guys kind of came towards him. He split them, and then it went to Shaw, and he had that really nice progressive run. Yeah, there were a couple times where really nice
he slipped right at the end. Yeah, the shot kind of went wayward.
I mean, the final product still needs to be worked on for us, but I think the movements are getting better. You can tell the team is starting to sort of understand what Ten Hag wants, and a lot of that comes down to, if you look at the stats, we had a lot more possession against Brentford. We kind of, obviously, yes, it was a 1-0 game, but you would have hoped for a more flattering scoreline.
It should have been
to say that
3 or 4
we dominated them, but I do think if you look at it on the game, like, we definitely deserved to win that game, and also I do think we kind of dominated in terms of, you know, possessing the ball.
Yeah.
They didn't really have, apart from that one-on-one with them,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have a single
No.
real chance. Like, it really, in the first half, I don't even think they had a
No.
shot on target or on goal
No.
at all. But yeah, so I think Luke Shaw is a really valuable asset to the team, and he's not even that
I think
old.
he
He's like 27, 26 or something.
deservedly.
And he got the new
deserved,
contract.
Yeah, definitely deserved.
Yeah, I think you can tell Ten Hag likes him, and I think he's going to be really important going forward. Also, when you talk about the past 8 or 9 years with him, we also got to, like, take into account this team. A lot of these guys, obviously, Rashford had a bad season last year. Some players have had some pretty bad seasons with us previously, but they're working under a new manager. There's a new culture.
Yeah.
And I know I'm an optimistic fan, but you can't take into account what they've done previously at United because we have a totally new manager, and we're probably going to have new owners in the summer, hopefully. Hopefully. But yeah, it's a whole new different situation. So I think these players should be given maybe not a second chance, but sort of just a reevaluation of who they are really in terms of their player profile, just because they're played different roles and roles that might help them thrive. So yeah, Luke Shaw.
One more thing on Shaw. Ten Hag we've seen him play at center back also, like the game against City. And he's thrived there too. He's like even ahead of like Maguire.
Yeah.
Ten Hag will put him in center back. But we've seen when we have possession or whatever side the ball is on, our fullback will come into that right or left center back, and we'll play with the back three. And since Shaw plays well at center back, Ten Hag will trust him to like fill into that deep lying role.
Yeah.
And that left center back. So when he gets the ball, he's not really out wide though, so he can't really link up with our forwards there. But his passing range, you know, he can like split lines and stuff.
Yeah, I think on that point, he is such an adaptable player that he can play going forward. He can play staying back. He can play as in a three if you wanted to. But you know, like some players, I saw Chelsea playing Reece James at center back the other day, and I just kind of thought that was peculiar because it didn't really, I don't know, it didn't look natural for him. It looked like he wanted to go attack. But with Luke Shaw, he can play center back. He played center back against Erling Haaland, the best player in the Premier League, and I think he did pretty well. You know, he didn't. Haaland didn't score a goal that game, and so I think Luke Shaw is such a valuable asset to the team that I think we got to make sure we lock him down, which we obviously did, and he's going to be in our starting lineup next year.
Yep,
no doubt about it.
For sure.
No need to get a new left back in. We also got Tyrell Malacia behind him. We're totally locked down for next however many years.
Tellez coming back too.
Tellez, actually, that's a great transition into the next
player.
Is
that next?
Alex Tellez. What are your thoughts on him?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
I think he's way past his prime.
I mean, do we even have who's our other left back? Brandon Williams,
Tyrell Malacia,
or I mean,
Shaw.
behind other than Shaw and Malacia.
Yeah, Brandon Williams.
How long is his loan? Just this season, and then he's coming back.
He's coming back, but I don't know how long his contract is with us. Maybe a year left.
I don't know. I would say bench because he's an experienced player. I think Malacia should be second choice to him to Luke Shaw. Tellez is happy kind of taking that role, to become like a senior figure, maybe help out some of the younger players and stuff. But if he wants to play, then I don't really see a future for him.
Yeah, I don't really see a future for him at all, to be honest. I think he's got to go because maybe you could argue that since he's Brazilian, we got a lot of Brazilian guys on the team, might be good for chemistry or something. But for me,
he was at the World Cup.
He was at the World Cup, but he had some decent moments with us so far in his career in United, but he really was just good at Porto, and it didn't really translate from the Portuguese league to the English league. So I think he's got to go for me because if it hasn't worked out so far, really,
I agree.
I think it's time for him to go. And I mean, you could put him on the bench, but if we could cash out on him, get maybe 5-10 million, might as well. So I'm gonna leave him on bench because you said that, but I would say so.
No, it wouldn't really matter. It's bench or sell. Like I mean, I think the point
You
is
be going
that
to sell them?
he's not going to be really playing a lot
Yeah.
for us next season
All right,
if he
I'm
wants
gonna
to
go
stay
sell
on the
them.
bench. But
We'll go
Yeah.
sell. We'll go sell. And then Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's an interesting one. Because you did put Diego Dalot
I
on the
know.
bench. So if we don't put
I
Wan-Bissaka
know.
in starting, we got to go out and find a new right back.
Personally, I really like Wan-Bissaka, but I think Ten Hag will want a new right back. So I'm gonna say bench from a more objective standpoint. But if I was manager, I'd be playing Wan-Bissaka every
Interesting.
match. I think he's criminally underrated.
Interesting. I somewhat agree with you because I think, kind of like Luke Shaw, he can also stay back and be a third center back if we have Luke Shaw going forward.
Definitely.
But I also think if we had him going forward, it wouldn't be the worst. But I don't see him being well enough at the going into the middle,
Yeah.
center mid type role.
He-
Dalot, and because Dalot, I don't know if you saw in the Brentford game, but Anthony would be far
Yeah.
wide on the right side.
Yeah.
Then you'd have Rashford down the middle, and then Dalot kind of found that space between them to try and pick the ball
Yeah.
and maybe interplay with them. I could maybe see Wan-Bissaka doing that, but it just seems more organic when Dalot is doing it.
No, I definitely agree.
So I think he's in between Sell, and for us, I could see him in the starting lineup. I understand what you're saying, but I feel like Ten Hag is going to want to cash out.
Definitely. I
and
think
go for maybe Frimpong or someone else.
Wan-Bissaka's best attributes are his defensive attributes. It's pretty clear. I think his positioning is great. His speed, his tackling.
One thing he does lack too, though,
obviously,
is in the air. He sometimes lets
his positioning at the back post could definitely
kind of suspect.
definitely be worked on. But I think he is very good at breaking the press. He really is good at getting out of 2v1 situations. So when he links up with Varane and Casemiro and stuff, he gets out of that press very easily. And I think he can get better at transitioning the play forward. Obviously his long range passing isn't really there. We've seen a couple times though, he's played in curling balls around the opposing team's left back.
His crosses aren't bad.
Yeah.
He also can cut it back pretty well, which is one thing that I want Anthony to actually learn.
Yeah.
Because we're talking so much about Anthony. We can make a whole video about him. But yeah, I think there's just definitely a lot of improvements. I could see him getting sold by Ten Hag, but maybe also being part of the team. Wan-Bissaka, yeah. So, I mean, we'll see, but we'll put him on bench.
I think he prefers Dalot, definitely.
Yeah.
But we even saw he was brilliant in the League Cup final.
Yeah.
When he came on, that second half performance was very good by him.
I also think when you got players like Alan St. Maximin, or say we're going up against the PSG where we're playing against Mbappe or something, and you want to have someone who's going to lock him down or pocket him, I don't think we're going to have Dalot playing there. We need a good lockdown defender, so it might be valuable to keep him with the team. But we'll see what Ten Hag does in the summer. So we got Brandon Williams next.
We haven't really been seeing much of Brandon Williams lately. I don't think
he's been injured all year, and he's still with the club. Yeah. He's not loaned anywhere. He's been injured.
Wasn't there a video of him or a picture of him what's it called? Inhaling helium or something. A little controversy or something like that.
That went away as quick as it came out. I don't think that was really a big report, but I don't know. In my opinion, player side, all the theatrics behind he's just got to go. I feel like it's kind of been...
I think I would say loan.
You would say loan?
Yeah.
How old is he now, though? He's got to be 22 or 23.
Yeah, that's still really young. I think he should get some game time at another club, and then if we decide he's worth keeping, then we can take him back. But I think he, when he was playing for us under Solskjaer, he had moments that you sort of oh, he's a good young defender. He can improve a lot.
Yeah. And on top of that, we still haven't seen him play with Ten Hag yet. So we don't know if he could play in a possession-based side or if he could play in that center mid, moving to the center mid role or not. So I guess maybe
that's true. I think loan is the best option because it
Ten Hag really hasn't seen him, hasn't had too much judgment of him. So I don't know if he'd sell him right away or not. And then Axel Tuanzebe, I believe his contract runs out in the summer.
The summer.
for me,
I'm gonna go sell.
I'm gonna go sell because we'll just let him go because there's no reason.
There's been too many loans. He's never been able to really break into the team.
He's also had too many injuries in his time at United. He hasn't really been able to produce much. He had that one performance, if you remember, against PSG in the group stages where him and Wan-Bissaka just locked up.
They locked up.
And they helped us win that game in Paris. But apart
from that was an insane performance, honestly, because I don't think he's even that was like maybe one of the first times playing that season. And he just came in and just locked up.
It was so confusing because I think we had some sort of injury problem that day. And he was like, oh, Tuanzebe's playing. And we're just like, oh, God, what's going to happen? But he did really well. But I think he's just got to go for his own good, too, for his career.
Yeah.
I think it would just be better for him to leave. All right, next one. There should be a shoe-in. Some people on social media wouldn't agree with this, but Bruno Fernandes. I got starting lineup.
Starting 11.
There's not much debate really needed. I mean, he's one of the most reliable players on the team. He rarely ever gets injured. He's playing every game. He's the definition of an athlete, too.
He is an actual engine, I think.
Literally.
He is running up and down the pitch for 90-plus minutes every single match. Never gets subbed off.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is insane.
He doesn't get any breaks. He is like an... And he never gets injured. That's such an that's not looked on enough. Like your availability as a player.
I also think about it too. The amount of times we see him on the ground rolling over, crying, and being you would think like the amount of times that you see him on the ground that he would definitely have some injuries. Yeah, he never has injuries, so you can tell he's faking.
He's so shameless.
It's so shameless.
I love it. I love it.
I wish he wouldn't do it as much, but
there are times when it's annoying, but. He's one of those players that he gets so involved in the game that
you can kind of forgive it.
It's like he's really playing his heart out right now.
And he's such a leader to the team. Like such a leader. All right, next up we got someone. This also should be an instant shoe-in. Christian Eriksen.
Bench. Say bench.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I was gonna say starting 11, but I think just the fact that he's kind of older, he can be a leader to the team.
I think, definitely. He will definitely be playing next season. I think we can definitely get like an improvement.
Yeah.
It also, I guess it depends where he plays. If he's playing in like the pivot with Casemiro or he's playing like number 10, then it depends on like where Bruno's going to play and everything. But I think I love Eriksen. I think he's a great player.
Yeah.
There's been times when he doesn't have like the legs really to be.
He's such a smart player.
Yeah, I know his technique. Yeah, so his passing. It's a tough one. I think he definitely will start games next season, but I think we should definitely sign another player for him to.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in another podcast.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got Marcel Sabitzer. Do you think we should sign him permanently?
I think we should sign him permanently.
Do you think he'd be in the bench?
Bench.
I think he would be in the
bench. I think we're really lacking a lot of like good midfielders right now, and I think having Sabitzer as a permanent addition
when you look at Man City,
balance that out.
The amount of depth that they have in the midfield is just nuts.
That would be a really good depth option.
Yeah, because when they take off De Bruyne, sometimes yes, it hurts them lately. But when you had like David Silva coming off the bench and things like that for them, it just didn't really change much. So when you have Marcel Sabitzer coming on for maybe Bruno if he's
it's
tired
like you're not dropping off like from like Casemiro and you're not like subbing on McTominay. No hate McTominay, but
I mean,
but it's like when you have a similar player to Sabitzer and then who's, let's say, I don't know, Fred is starting and then Fred comes off for Sabitzer. It's like the drop off in quality isn't there. Yeah. Like you know that you're still having a quality player coming on. Yeah,
I think also if we had Bruno, we could give him some more energy too by taking him off with Sabitzer because Sabitzer is also, in my opinion, he's also kind of an engine. He runs his heart out in these games. Like, I think
technically he's a good player too.
You'll see him all over the field. And one time, was the last game, Brentford, he was the one that got the assist there.
Yeah.
And he had no right to be that far up and be challenging against the really tall center back.
He was playing further than Rashford was.
Yeah, and he got the header. It was just, you see him everywhere, just like Bruno kind of. So I think that they're also really smart players. So he's an obvious bench for depth.
Yeah.
And I think, we could see him in the starting lineup a little bit next year, but definitely someone we want to keep for depth. Next up, this one's going to be an interesting one. He's not with us at the moment, Amad Diallo.
Mm,
Because have you
yeah,
seen him
I
at
know.
Sunderland? Did
Did
you
you see
him
the clips
today?
from today?
He got 2
juggling
goals.
in the middle, and then the little
Yeah, 2
the
goals.
through ball.
He was involved in pretty much all their 4 goals today. He's nuts.
I'm gonna go bench. I don't
Yeah.
think we should put him back on loan. I think
he's got to get involved.
I think Ten Hag is gonna want to work with him next season.
Yeah. I mean, I know Ten Hag loves
Definitely.
Antony and he favors him so much because he
Yeah.
had him at Ajax, but dude, Amad is a baller. Like
He is.
we're gonna see him in the next couple of years. I swear,
Yeah, I know.
he's so good. Just remember when he came on against who is it? Was it Milan?
I think it was
Milan or someone?
Roma or Milan. When
One
he
of
scored
those
the header.
Italian teams.
The header.
He scored that backwards
Yeah.
header. Just like, dude,
Yeah,
this kid's just such a baller.
I know.
I was so sad that he had to get loaned out, but I mean, man, it
I mean,
seems like it's worked
sometimes
wonders for him.
loans like do work, and
Yeah.
this is like an example of a loan like showing a player's like good qualities and stuff.
Yeah, I think he's definitely one for the future, but we're gonna
What he's
put him on
got?
the bench.
Double-digit goals in the championship and 2 assists or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we
It's
got
really good.
Fred. For me, it's a bench because I don't think
Yeah.
if we want to be totally challenging for Champions League, Premier League, all those things,
Yeah,
which we're not nearly at the moment, but maybe a year or two or something, we could be closer. We gotta be having players better than
Yeah.
Fred. I think he'd be a good person to keep on the bench.
Fred is such a hot or cold player.
He
like
is.
when he starts for us.
But when he comes on, sometimes he has
I know.
impact, and he's scored a decent amount of goals
Yeah.
this past year.
It's another thing. His along with Sabater and like Bruno,
He gets in good
he's-
positions.
and yeah, he's an engine as well.
I
He'll
would've
never
liked-
stop
yeah.
running.
I would have liked to see him score in that Brentford game when
Yeah.
Rashford had that. Was it that move that he put on Jansen and then he passed
Yeah,
it back to
skin
Fred?
Jansen,
Fred
and then
skied it.
Fred skied it. I know.
It would have been such a sick move, but
Fred's been getting more in the goals.
I think Fred's
This is
solid.
what
I
his
think he's a
highest-
solid player,
He is.
and I mean he's not insane. He's not De Bruyne, Bruno, any of those class of midfielders.
Although he did lock De Bruyne up against City.
But he's not at that level yet. I think he's a good depth player though, so I think we keep him on the bench. And also, just to preface, because we have a pretty thick bench right now, these aren't just going to be bench players. They could be around the squad.
Yeah.
Maybe like occasionally dropped, whatever. Next up, this one should be pretty straightforward. Casemiro.
I don't even have to answer. I don't even have to answer that question.
All right, starting 11. Moving on.
Yeah.
Facundo Pellistri.
Bench.
Did you hear about what some reports
Yeah,
about today?
he wants
they
a new
want to give him a new contract.
Ten Hag's impressed with his development.
I would like to see him on the bench too, but I
I
feel
want
like
to see him playing more.
I feel like it'd be better if he went loaned out. Just kind
You
of
think?
like if he went to a championship side or even like a lower Premier League side. So say Burnley comes up, they could use a player like him.
Yeah.
I feel like loan out would be a better move for him just because he'll get more minutes. If we just see him right away on the bench like this season, he's only really come on.
I mean, yeah.
So I think we should loan him out.
So you're saying like, if they're planning on giving him a new contract, it's here's a new contract.
We'll loan you.
Will
out.
you go on loan next season and then you'll be back with
that
us?
type of thing. And then he comes back from loan just like Ahmad. Hopefully, it's a successful loan, and it sort of has more.
I mean, yeah.
impact
If
into it. 'Cause
Ahmad,
Ahmad in the
comes
team,
back, yeah, that makes sense.
and Ahmad can play 10. He can play winger. Ahmad can even play sort of a false 9. So I think we put Pellistri on loan because we already have a pretty thick bench at the moment. The Donny van de Beek.
So
I hate to say it. He seems like such a nice guy.
I feel bad for him.
I feel really bad for him because
it never worked out.
It's one of those situations where when we
also
bought him, it didn't
a move
seem like
that didn't really make sense.
It didn't make sense at the time, and it didn't seem like it was Ole's signing, really. Like, it didn't seem like it was someone that Ole really wanted. So it was kind of hard to integrate him into the team, and it never really worked.
It was a weird signing.
And then this year, before the start of the season, I kind of had hope for him, honestly. Because, Ten Hag's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't get to see too much of Ten Hag with him this season, but it didn't look
He's
great.
unfortunate with injuries.
It didn't look great, and then he had that injury. So I feel like it's kind of just, it's not really worked. Time. For his sake and our sake, he should probably go ahead and move on.
Because he is quality.
There is a player
for Ajax.
There's a solid
He's quality. I think he can definitely, even if he can stay in the Premier League too, if he wants. I think he can do bits at another club.
Yeah. Well, next up we got someone I love, Scott McTominay. It'd be such a heartbreaker if we had to sell him, but I think we're gonna have to.
I agree. I think, was there something that said he wanted to leave?
Today it was saying that he needs to. I think it was something like if he gets put maybe in the
drop down
in
order that he
tier
wants
or
to
whatever,
leave.
in the pecking order, then he wants to leave. So it didn't exactly mean that he can't be a squad player, because he is a squad player right now.
He's a squad player.
I feel like if we kept
I think
him,
he is a good squad player.
He puts in some good performances.
He does.
Against Brentford, he was pretty solid.
He was great against Brentford, but there's other games when
he's just kind of a ghost.
Not really. When he has much. Under 40 touches in a game or something, like a Manchester United midfielder cannot have this few touches.
I don't think he cuts it at the starting 11, but I feel like Ten Hag's gonna want to sell him. Maybe not, because I feel like Ten Hag sometimes in press conferences says that he likes him, but
you can't really trust what he's saying in those.
Yeah,
about every player.
Please the fans, or the media, I guess. But I think it'd be best for him to go ahead and make a move somewhere, maybe a lower Premier League side.
I can see him in Newcastle.
I could actually too.
I think that would be a good move for him.
Yeah,
especially if they start to challenge for Europe.
Yeah,
so I do think he's a quality player.
Yeah,
but yeah.
All right, we got Hannibal Mejbri next, and he's on loan at Birmingham City.
Yeah.
He's having a decent season. He's not blowing us out of the water there, but he's having a decent season. What are you thinking?
I mean, Ten Hag he was here over preseason, right? So Ten Hag saw him over the summer.
I think he played some preseason game.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two or something.
I'm not sure. I think another year on loan might be best for him.
Yeah.
Whether it's at Birmingham or possibly maybe a lower league Premier League club, because he is another good young player to watch out for.
Yeah, I think also he drives really well. He kind of reminds me of Jack Grealish in the way he dribbles.
Yeah,
because he's so powerful at dribbling. He also, whenever I've seen him play, he draws a lot of fouls, and he's pretty young. He's still 19 or 20, so he's still got time. I think loaning was probably the best idea and situation for him. Mm-hmm. This next player though, I rate him massively. Zidane Iqbal. I rate him massively. I think he should be more around the team. Honestly, because when we bring in players like I love Scott McTominay, but he does not have the technical ability, not even near Zidane. And maybe you could say,
but a lot of things with these younger players, they don't have the physicality.
Yeah,
like that's one thing about.
He could go out on loan.
Yeah,
I would like to see him with the team, but if he's not going to give minutes,
I think Ten Hag would probably want to loan him out just because he hasn't really seen him this season a lot, so he may not want to throw him straight into the squad.
Yeah.
And give him minutes instead of letting him get a lot of minutes at another club.
Yeah, I think loaning might be his best route. I don't know why he hasn't loaned this year.
Yeah.
It's beyond me, I guess. Kobe Mainu.
Loan.
Have you seen some of those comps of him?
Yeah.
Dude,
I think loan.
He looks like
he should get some game time.
Yeah, I agree. I think loan as well. But he could be someone that, oh my gosh, whenever he's on the ball, I swear, it looks like he's just so assured. Yeah. I think when which game was it that we brought him in? I forgot his first game with us, but it just seemed like he had some jitters playing with the big boys. Yeah. But I think loaning would probably be the best idea. Bring him a championship, give him some physicality, that type of thing.
But definitely learning from Casemiro this year is definitely helping him a lot.
For sure. This next one's going to be a bit controversial and a bit sad. Anthony Martial.
Oh.
I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it, but it's not.
It depends if we sign a striker this summer. I think we will. I think a striker is probably a number one priority. So we definitely will.
It also hinders a lot. On the owner situation.
That's true. But I think we definitely will sign a striker.
I think if the Qataris come in, even if Ratcliffe comes in, it's probably lights out for Martial because I love him to death. He's such a good player when he plays.
What's up with the injury record this season? I've never seen him have a real. Has he had an injury record?
I feel like the last couple of years he's just been kind of.
I don't remember him really ever being out for prolonged.
But we did have to loan him. We loaned him to Sevilla. What was that last year?
Yeah, that was last season.
That was also weird. I think Rangnick.
Well, that was because. Was he loaned before Ronaldo came in or after? Do you know? Because I'm trying to think if Ronaldo coming in affected Martial getting.
I could have sworn it was January. Yeah. Because I remember them playing together.
Well, then that could be why. Maybe.
Yeah, it probably was that, but it was just so sad because it didn't. In my head, it didn't really make sense for him to get loaned out because he's such a quality player when he plays. But this year, it's just
you could even see when he came on against Brentford, just the way he was linking up everything.
I do think it was also interesting that he didn't start the Brentford game because I remember he'd been practicing for almost 3 weeks now. And so you would think, oh, once they're a week or two.
Did you see Ten Hag's quote about that?
Yeah, they should start, but he doesn't want to rush him back, which I think is really smart of Ten Hag.
Good.
So maybe it does mean that
especially you're looking at the player's injury record. You know that because he's done that. He made that mistake before when he was out for a couple weeks. He came back, he started, and then he got injured that game, and then was out for however long he's been out for.
Yeah, so
it's really about easing him back. I don't know.
Hopefully he's got a plan with him, but we'll see. I mean, if you think about it, because my ideal world, if we were to sell him, I don't want us to sign Weghorst and then a Harry Kane or an Osimhen, because if one of those guys gets injured, then you have to go back to Weghorst.
I know.
And love Weghorst, but he's not clinical enough.
No.
And Martial is, but the thing is, I can't trust him with his injury problems. So if we did get rid of Martial, I think we'd probably have to sign 2 strikers.
Yeah.
Maybe a younger striker like Evan Ferguson or something like that alongside Kane. But if we kept Martial, we could save money.
I don't think we've ever signed 2 players in the same position in one summer, unless the ownership changes. Yeah, then we'll sign whoever. But
if the Qataris come in, man, we got money. But we'll see. I think Martial.
So we're gonna say bench. For now?
For now, we'll say bench, but he's probably going to get sold.
I think that's a... We'll see.
Yeah,
it could really depend on what happens this summer.
Yeah. Also, I feel like when he's linking up play well, because when he came on against Brentford, he had so many, even in the small cameo he had. His hold-up play is so elite. It's so elite.
We saw there was one break when he won the ball in our penalty area.
Yeah.
And, sat down one player, which I was like...
He's...
and then he just created a counterattack all by himself, linking up with, every player and going through. It was...
Did you see the news on Snapchat about him?
No. Oh, with his wife or his ex-wife or something?
So, there was mixed reports. I don't even know what's exactly true, but one of his ex-wives was chasing...
He's married and has a kid, right? Is he divorced with that?
I think he's divorced both of them, is what some people were saying.
But he has a daughter, I think, with one of them.
He has kids, but I think he might have divorced both of them because some people were saying that he actually isn't married right now.
Oh my god!
So they were chasing each other on the highway, which is just nuts, and he's not even there.
That. Yeah,
that's just the ultimate French riz right there. But I think he's gonna stay on the bench. Yeah. Hopefully, he'll probably get sold, but we would like to see him on the bench still. Next up, we got the main man, Marcus Rashford. I mean, come on.
I'm not even going to say.
Do we have to say?
I'm not even going to say it.
It's crazy that on Twitter, I've been seeing people say really, really stupid things about him. Like, Ten Hag is not going to want to play with him in the future and stuff like that. If you watched him in the center forward role this past game in Brentford, he was linking up play pretty well, too. He knows how to pass. He's not stupid either because he'll go back when he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't always force things. I think he's one of those players that he's really smart.
He's a player who plays really well when he's high on confidence.
Yeah.
And then when he's low on confidence or when he's form starts to dip, that's where he can kind of spiral and stuff. So I think keeping him fit, I think is a big part of it as well.
Yeah.
When he's playing with injuries and stuff, he's obviously not going to be at his full potential. But I mean, he's my favorite United player right now, or ever since 2016.
Yeah, I mean,
he came on. He's always been my favorite United player.
Yeah, he's such a good person too. He's someone that you want to have in your team. But I've been seeing these fans lately, man. Some of these so-called United fans. I don't know if they're really United fans. They've been calling him out, and even when he scored against Brentford, someone said, "Oh my God, number 10 scored against it."
Yeah.
What?
You're crazy. Not a real United fan.
Nah, it's crazy. But yeah, we shouldn't even have to talk about it.
He's coming on 30 goals for the season. First time that's happened since
his season has been really, really good. And I feel like it's been majority of the season. Yes, the first half wasn't as good as it has been the second half, but his first half wasn't as bad as people were actually putting it out to be.
He was lighting it up. He was taking on defenders. That's what I love. When he's playing his left wing and he's taking on that right
defenders going
and
inside.
then he's turning them side to side.
Yeah. Also, I think it's good to have, because when Sancho plays left wing, or just any of our left wing, it seems like a lot of our wingers, apart from Anthony, are pretty interchangeable.
Yeah.
And Rashford can go left, he can come back to the middle. He can make all these decent runs and stuff. So I think it's really important for him to have someone who's
Yeah.
interchangeable. Because if we have another, because Anthony just stays on the right, but if we had a left winger who only stays on the left, that might kind of hurt him because then he can't go to the middle, he can't go to the left side. If you have an Osimhen come in as striker, he's got the agility to go left wing. He's got the agility to stay up top. Same with, I've seen Kane drift to the left a little bit sometimes too and play sort of like a 10 role as well. Yeah, because he has some.
I think Kane's link up with our attackers would be
pretty lethal.
Would be very, very good to see.
Yeah, but maybe it's just us being optimistic fans. We'll move on to Anthony now because we've been talking about him already with other players and stuff. But I think he's going to be in the starting 11 just because Ten Hag loves him. Would I love to see a certain someone else there?
Oh, Sancho?
You know who I'm
Ahmad? No.
Mr. God, how do I put this? If he's innocent. Mr. If innocent.
Oh God.
Mr. If innocent.
I haven't even thought of that.
I don't even want to think. We don't want to say his name. No. But Mr. If innocent. Oh my God. I miss Mr. Good. Not bad stuff in the background. Yeah. We're not going to talk about him. But
we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah, we'll leave that for another podcast. Starting 11, Anthony, lock him in. Somehow loves him.
I think he's still got.
He's not a flop. He's got to stop telling us he's a flop.
He's not a flop. I think he just has. He's got to win over some more fans. I think he's got to do more to win over.
Yes, I would love to see him do more. And obviously, he can't control his £100 million price tag. No. A lot of these price tags come down to the Glazers being really dumb and waiting last minute to bark. Like,
but I think he does thrive in a possession system, possession-based system. That's why Ten Hag played him at Ajax. He brought him over.
I think he played well against Brentford too because we had more possession, but the only issue was his end product.
I wish he can be more direct at times.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes which we did see against Brentford, he's trying to take on his man, which is good, or against Newcastle, taking on like Dan Burn and everything.
I wonder though if Ten Hag is telling him not to, so we can keep possession because you see.
On like the counters and stuff. There's been times when we were on the counter and he'll cut it back, and it's like
just kills the counter.
Why you have so much space ahead of you? Just kind of
and we have really fast attacks.
Kick it and run. You have so much pace too. It's sometimes that's frustrating, but I think that that's not. It's very fixable because he has the quality.
Yeah. I also think it's really stupid to write a player off after 1 year. Like you look at Mudryk. I mean, I think there is a quality player inside of players like that too, but everyone's obviously going to overreact. So people are going to call him Anthony the fidget spinner and things like that. But he'll make it right next year for sure.
Yeah.
And next up we got Jadon Sancho. Dude, I love Sancho as a guy. Like I know everything about him. Like I love, and we were trying to chase him for 3 years.
If there's a place for him in the starting 11, if Anthony's
I think he's in the squad though. I think he makes an impact.
Definitely in the squad. So we'll say bench.
But I think he makes an impact.
There's games when he'll start and Anthony won't start. Like I think he's very interchangeable with the front four.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely for the starting 11, I don't think Ten Hag will put him as the first choice every single game.
Yeah, and he could come in and play the 10 if Bruno's playing deeper. Mm-hmm. It's one thing we saw against Brentford. Bruno did play pretty deep sometimes. You could see him even splitting the center backs, kind of like Casemiro does. So I think Bruno has that flexibility to be all positions in the midfield. And Sancho could play the 10, could link up play pretty well. I think also he's one of those players, just like Rashford, that once he has confidence and once he is right mentally, I think we'll see the best version of Jadon Sancho.
We're waiting for Dortmund Sancho to come back.
Yeah, there definitely is.
We'll see him.
I think he also needs to still adjust to the physicality of the Premier League because when he was in Dortmund, the Bundesliga is just not nearly as physical as no league is as physical as the Premier League. And when you come, it's kind of hard to adjust unless you're an absolutely physical beast like Erling Haaland. Yeah. Erling Haaland came in and he's just already just a beast.
He's a robot.
Yeah, physically, mentally, everything. Yeah. But you look at Sancho, he's a little bit more soft. I did see him start to go into a couple more of those tackles last game against Brentford, but you'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive and assert himself a little bit more. But he's definitely a really good player, so we're going to leave him in the bench, and he could still
definitely not sell though. I've seen some people say time's up for him.
I don't think we should cash him out. It's definitely not been enough time. And then we got Wout Weghorst. Do you think we should permanently sign him?
No, I'm sorry, Weghorst.
You don't think he'd be a good option off the bench?
No. I wish he would be if he's scored headers for us or something. If he's, you're 6'7". How are you not winning aerial duels and stuff? It's so frustrating. If he's shown at times when he's scored off headers or he's been a threat in the box, yes, I would want to keep him to come on late in the game and have an impact. but he hasn't shown any of that.
Dude,
It's so frustrating.
It's sad because a player like him, he loves to play for the club.
I know.
But at the end of the day, he really just hasn't produced the goods at all. And he's a striker.
He's a passionate desire player who just lacks the quality.
And he's a striker. He needs to produce the goods.
I know.
He doesn't produce the goods.
Yeah, but I think he played well in the League Cup final.
So
he got an assist. He
we'll
scored in the semifinal.
We'll put him in the sub column. Just means that we're not going to permanently sign him.
Yeah, it sucks, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's got to go. I mean, he doesn't cut it for us.
Yeah, he just doesn't cut it.
Yeah. Next up, we got Anthony Olenga.
So
I think for his career too, it would just make more sense for us to sell. He doesn't really have much of a role in the team.
Yeah.
When he comes, I hate to say it, but when he comes on, he's so underwhelming.
It's not.
He had that little spark when he first came in. And I was like,
he's never really had a bright, positive performance for us
since like the first couple of games he played, and even then, like the first season he came in,
he is fast. Really, I think some people may want to say loan, but I think we just have a lot of better options to loan out. And
I see him as like a Damari Gray type player. Like he could go to like an Everton, or he could go to a lower league side.
Yeah.
Something like that. Definitely. And it would suit him better, but I just don't really see him, especially in the possession-based side, because he is really fast. No. He could do it with a counter-attacking side, like a Newcastle or something. But I don't think he would thrive, especially once we get to playing more possession-based, like Ten Hag wants. And our last player, Alejandro Garnacho.
Ooh, Garnacho.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like, if we gave him the 7.
Yeah. No, we're not giving him the 7.
Dude, he's so good. He's so good.
He is really good.
I think we keep him around this. Like, luckily, this is not our decision to make for next year.
We're gonna play him more.
I think we keep him on bench for now and just keep him around the squad. Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, like I could see him next year making his way into the starting 11.
He is like the perfect touchline winger that we've really been lacking. I think he's so direct. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking to take on his man, and he's so bright and positive, and I really hope he makes it.
Do you have any concerns
I think he will.
His ego or personality off field or anything like that? Because we haven't really seen any like personal reports about him doing anything bad or disciplinary things. But
there was one picture on his Instagram story. There was a vape on the couch, but I'm hoping it was his girlfriend's. That's what a lot of people were saying.
He strikes me as the type of guy that kind of.
He does have an ego.
Yeah, he definitely has an ego. You could
like a snarkiness.
Did you see his comment on Vinny's post?
Yeah, about Barca.
He seems to be commenting a lot with Real Madrid players, but I don't know. I like him. I think he has a good mentality. Like he knows that he can pass a player.
Yeah.
And we need that. We need somebody who's direct, because Sancho sometimes just frays away from those challenges. Same with Anthony. He doesn't really seem to like want to take a man one-on-one. But Garnacho, he has killer pace too.
Yeah.
Remember that goal against who was it, Fulham, where he passed it? He had that 1-2 with Eriksen.
Yeah, in like the 94th minute.
Yeah, and when Eriksen played the ball through, I was like, oh, the goalie's going to collect it, or the defender's going to catch up. Because it was
on the boosters.
It was one of their fast defenders. Yeah. He was like, they could overread, and he's really fast. But oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, Garnacho has some.
And against Barca, when he split like 3 like Busquets and like I don't even know who else, but
he's got some burners.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely someone that's going to have an impact next year.
And
he could eke his way into the starting 11.
He already had, I think, disciplinary issues or something. I think Ten Hag left him out of.
Didn't
play him over preseason for him, like, being late to meetings or like not showing up.
But I feel like hopefully he learned from that.
I think Ten Hag.
Even Rashford was late to a meeting. He got benched against Wolves and came on at halftime
and scored.
Yeah, and scored. But he should have scored twice. That handball goal.
Yeah.
No, that was dumb. But no, I think Ten Hag has sort of instilled that culture where he's not going to have any of this BS. Yeah. So I think it's good for a player like Garnacho.
Good for young players.
I'm very interested how he deals with the whole who situation.
Yeah.
He who should not be spoken of situation. But we'll talk about that another time. But I think Ten Hag's got it right, and I think Garnacho could definitely eke his way into the starting 11, but he could also just have a good role off the bench.
Yeah.
And he's a player that if we have him on the bench, like that's good quality. So we'll have a lot more
depth.
That
is good quality.
So I think
we can imagine bringing Garnacho on against like a tired right back's legs, like that. Like
putting him on against Trent. Oh no, it's over. It's over.
Like 70th minute, the fullback's already exhausted from playing against Rashford for 70 minutes, and then comes on Garnacho, who's even like more direct, you'd say, than like oh my god, it's lovely.
All right,
it's lovely stuff.
That's what we did. So we got Licha in the starting 11 still. We got Varane We got Luke Shaw, Bruno Fernandes. We got Casemiro, Rashford, Antony in the starting 11 still. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So
players?
It looks like we still need four players for. It probably won't be 4 new starting. No. I mean, you never know though. If we get
depends on the ownership.
Depends on the ownership.
Depends.
It's not looking likely that we'll have 4 new starters next year. And then the bench. These are bench around players.
Squad.
Tom Heaton, who he could get replaced, but Tom Heaton, Lindelof, Malacia, Delo, Wan-Bissaka, Eriksson, Sabitzer, Ahmad, Fred, Martial, Sancho, and Garnacho. I think that's a really solid bench too.
It's a really good.
I also think if we do have Delo, we're not going to have Sancho or Wan-Bissaka. But if we do have Wan-Bissaka next year, we'll probably not have Delo.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to sell Delo though.
No,
it's probably
definitely not.
Wan-Bissaka going. But then we got we got David De Gea, Dean Henderson, Jack Butland. He can go back wherever he. What team is he even on?
I don't even know.
Burnley? I don't even know. He seems like a
it wasn't
player. Something like that. Whatever. He can leave.
Southampton.
Eric Bailly, he can go back to Marseille. Phil Jones, you can go retire. Please
retire. We've been paying him so much money
for so long.
For like 10 years.
Harry Maguire, you can go to Leicester. You can go back. Alex Tellez, you can probably retire. Axel Twanzebe.
Go jumpstart your career again somewhere.
Yeah, go do something. And then Van de Beek, go back to the Dutch League. Go have fun there. Scott McTominay, go to Newcastle.
Scotty McTerminator.
Wout Weghorst, you can stay at Burnley. They're coming to the Premier League now. You'll be in the Premier League. Congrats. Anthony Alenga, you can go to an Everton. You can go somewhere else. And then we got Brandon Williams loaning out, Facundo Pellistri, got Hannibal Mejbri, Zidane Iqbal, and Kobe Manu. So I think that's a solid list.
Solid. Very solid.
And now I think we can move into the next part of the podcast, and that's going to be this upcoming fixture. So we got Everton on the cards. So what are your thoughts on Everton on this matchup?
I feel like it's going to be a really shitty game.
Really? Interesting.
Well, Sean Dyche, what do you think he's gonna do?
Yeah, Sean Dyche.
I think it's gonna. I hope it's not gonna be one of those games, but they're gonna be sitting really deep, and we're gonna have majority of possession, and it's gonna be about
how many shots can Anthony get in before he scores.
Oh my god.
I mean,
I just hope it's not one of those like frustrating games when you have like 30 attempts and like 20 on target, but like no goals.
It's probably
we've seen that a lot before.
Yeah, but with Sean Dyche, with a lot of his Burnleys,
yeah.
we've seen him either equal 1-0 draw or 1-0 win or 1-1 draw. But yeah, it's not going to be a fun game, I don't think. Do you want to do combined 11, or do you think it's even worth it, really?
No.
I mean, okay,
Everton's not.
Let's just talk about some players we think Everton could maybe eke into the starting 11. What about Jordan Pickford? I still think David De Gea is better than him.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched them enough to see whether he's actually good at distributing the ball, but I don't know. Pickford really, in my opinion, only shows up for England.
Yeah, I agree. I think De Gea is a better keeper.
One player I do like on Everton, though, for the future is that Onana.
Yeah.
Center defensive mid. They got, I think he's from the Belgian league, but oh my gosh, he actually looks really good when he plays. So I think he's someone that even United could keep an eye on.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd start above Casemiro, obviously, but yeah, I don't. I hate to say, we sound cocky because when United fans were like, "Oh, there's nobody in the starting lineup," but
like, okay, look at
realistically,
Everton. They're fighting for like relegation.
Who on Everton's team? Nobody. I don't see anyone better.
No.
I mean, even would Wout start for them? Probably not.
I don't know. I mean, no, for Sean Dyche, he definitely would.
Has Calvert-Lewin been?
I think he's injured.
He's injured?
Actually, I don't know.
I think he's kind of rubbish, honestly. I don't think he's that good.
Yeah.
I really think he's overrated. He had that one good game against us, but apart from that,
I kind of like Decore. I think
he's
good.
He got suspended though, right? Because of that red card.
Did he?
He got a red card against Spurs, so he's not playing.
Oh,
you remember? Do you see that game? Spurs were playing against them. Both teams got a red card. Lucas got one, and Michael Keane scored a banger from outside the box.
Michael Keane.
Man, fair play to Michael, but I don't really see anyone.
I don't think anyone's
really getting in. So combined 11 is just United's 11. You want to do a predicted 11 then for United?
Predicted 11? I would say our lineup against Brentford, except Malacia for Shaw. Yeah. Because Shaw's injured.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything too long, the injury. But
Yeah.
I think Malacia, he played well.
Yeah.
You should reward him.
Well, Ten Hag said Shaw's not going to be available tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But
or just reward him with a start anyways, too. Yeah,
I don't think he's really would make any changes.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Wakehorse coming in. Because if he was more of an aerial threat, maybe because we'd probably want to be like spamming crosses in.
Yeah.
But we've never really seen Wakehorse get on the end of a good ball yet.
All right, let's finish it off with our predictions. What's your score prediction?
Predictions. I'm gonna go 2-0 United.
2-0 United? Okay. I'm going to go 2-1 United.
2-1?
I'll say Rashford will score 1. And you know what? I got an Anthony banger.
Yeah.
Anthony banger coming in.
The law of averages, you know,
it's gotta come at some point. It's gotta come at some point.
Yeah.
You know? So
I agree.
We got Anthony scoring.
It's a home
Rashford
where
scoring.
at Old Trafford, right?
I believe.
I think it's at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And we've been really good there this season.
Yeah. We've really only suffered away from home. I mean,
yeah.
Home we have the most. I think the least given up goals was like 8 or something.
Yeah.
And
we only lost at home.
You know what? I don't think they're actually
on opening day.
Our defense played really well last game.
Yeah. I think if we play like we did against Brentford, for sure.
I wonder if Sean Dyche will press hard, though, because I feel like that's one thing, too. When you look at De Gea, he played pretty well, apart from a couple mistakes with the passing last game. But if he starts to build up, repertoire of being able to actually competently pass, and also you could see Delo was coming in and dropping really deep, so he could play. He could be an option, too. So it seems like Ten Hag's trying to get more options available for De Gea. So if he's able to pass better, you think teams are going to start sort of going away from pressing us as high as they have been, or you think it's just going to be a common theme for the season?
I think De Gea, as good as he can get on the ball, I think he'll always have that mistake in him.
Yeah, I think
or that lack of quality in him. So
that could help us on the counter, though.
That's what didn't the Newcastle player comment on De Gea's distribution?
Murphy. Yeah, he said that was kind of one thing they attacked. But
imagine the other coach saying, "Guys, this keeper can't pass the ball. Just press him, and you'll win it back." And
really
they
sad.
Literally did. Yeah, it's
really sad. But yeah, so then maybe I'll see like Damari Gray scoring or something like that for Everton. You know, I don't think they're gonna score. I'm gonna change my prediction. 2-0, just like you.
Yeah,
I got Rashford and Anthony scoring. Who do you think is gonna score?
Definitely Rashford. I think Martial will score off the bench.
What if Fred scores? I could see a Fred goal.
Make up for his missed chance.
Yeah, I could see a Fred goal too.
Yeah.
But I think this is a pretty important matchup, though, because we got to start, now that Newcastle have dragged us into the top 4 battle, I think we got to keep up, and keep putting the pressure on the teams below us and Spurs.
I just can't believe how far we've fallen from even thinking about
our form.
About
after the Carabao Cup, our form has
dipped 1 point in 9. That's horrible. I mean, 3 games. I mean, aside before Brentford, 3 games without scoring a league goal.
Hopefully, Brentford in this game will be a good way to boost us back into our.
No, the Brentford performance was really, really good. Yeah. And I think if we play the same like we did against Brentford, I think we'll come out with the win.
I think we'll the win. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we got for y'all today. And make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, you drop a thumbs up, you hit that subscribe button, and you comment your score prediction. Comment your score prediction for the Everton matchup. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.